Rise and shine, nerds. You're tuned in to the Back Row Morning Show, a Monday through Thursday morning show for LTN Radio and proudly a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. I'm Radio Matt. This show covers a lot of banter-worthy goofiness inspired by current pop culture, as well as a focused topic that spans all four shows for the week. This week on the show, for the fourth week, we will take a look at the brand new social etiquette rules for 2023. What has changed? Do we agree with them? Now, you've likely noticed that Mo hasn't introduced herself. Mo is currently taking a hiatus, so as we finish out these rules, I'm welcoming a new guest host each week. And this week, filling in for Mo is a woman who simultaneously feels like your loving mother and the best friend you've ever had. She's a calligraphy queen and might deliver you a singing telegram. She's also a ruthless killer and goose goose duck. Please welcome our friend known online as KY Redhead, Hilary Fiskeaux. Welcome to the show, Hilary.
Hello. Good morning. By the way, banter-worthy goofiness sounds like the theme of my homeschool, so thank you for them stealing that.
This week, and for the last several weeks, we have been going over the new 2023 Etiquette Guide as published by New York Magazine. We have been going over 194 rules in 7 different sections. And today we're going to read some of these rules in full and then decide if we agree with them or not. Today we're going to begin going over the new etiquette rules for posting and texting. So we're talking communication, we're talking social media. It's going to be a good time. And there's quite a few of them, so we're going to compared to the last section that we did where we only had about 4 a day, we're going to have close to 10 a day, I think 9 a day. So we're going to need to go through these a little quicker. Yeah. Okay. We're going to go through 122 through 131. Let's open it up correctly here. Stupid. Not you, me. Okay. So we're starting with 122. Don't ever message someone lowercase k period. The combination of the single letter and the period comes across as unfriendly, even if it doesn't read that way to boomers. It basically means F you to Gen Z, but lowercase k with no period or 2 lowercase k's or okay are fine. But just the combination of the lowercase k and the period is an insult.
Unless you're trying to be passive aggressive, which is, that's your choice. I see all that, like, hey, yep. Anything without an emoji or an exclamation point still feels like.
Oh, you think that's not going far enough? I think I use yep all the time, but I don't ever mean it sarcastically or whatever. But I have used k lowercase k period and knew that they were gonna take this wrong or I'll take it right because that's what I meant it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, I agree with this one, but maybe it doesn't go far enough. Yeah. Maybe you got to at least throw an emoji in there.
Yeah.
K, smiley face. That's what we need at least.
Right. Or K, exclamation point. Like, K. Like,
I don't know. That one would still come off as K. That's like an aggressive, I'm upset with this kind of thing. Like,
okay.
K, that's what you want? All right, fine. We got
it. Okay. Like it's just like 4 A's. Okay.
Dre says on the K, I agree. On the yup, I just picture David Tennant saying it. That's a good way to picture it because that's how I mean it. Yep. All right. Number 123. If you're someone who types ha 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 to things that are not actually funny, don't just say ha when they're clearly not. The sudden demotion can feel disheartening to the other person. A mid-level ha ha or a quick LOL is kinder. So, I mean, that is true. If I'm writing LOL or haha, I'm not usually really laughing. But if I'm writing 3 ha's or more, I'm laughing. If I'm writing ha, then this stopped my day. It was so funny, and I showed it to my wife and everything else.
Yeah.
It's weird how just the amount of ha's sends a different message.
Like...
I don't think I've ever had.
The only time I've ever messaged or replied a single ha, if it was like, like gotcha, or I was right, So like I would never do a single ha for any level of humor.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think I've ever done that as I want you to think that I think this is funny, but I don't care enough about it to write more than 1 ha.
Yeah.
Number 124, don't scroll through your friend or acquaintance's photo roll. If they hand you their phone to show you a photo, keep your thumb still.
Oh, yes. No, good. Don't swipe if you're not invited. My kids do that.
Yeah, sure. Your
Kids,
friends.
I'm like, no, they're, like, I don't have photos in there that they shouldn't see, but at the same time, like, if it's a random person, like, do that. No.
Let me read what the rest of this says. It says, sure, you're friends, but they'd probably prefer not to see the close-up selfies of their moles, their screenshots of text gossip, or the 200 outtakes from their naughty photo shoot they did for their husband.
Yeah. I mean, like, nope. Mm-mm. Like, hey, what does this rash look like to you? Like, no.
I've done that so many times. I'm like, I can't see this, so just keep taking it
That's why
until
I
I get it.
don't hand my phone over typically to people. I will hold it in their
check this out.
desired position, but you're not taking my phone from me.
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah, they're becoming. They have become. I was about to say they're becoming this, but they have become now an extension of our personal brains. And you don't hand your brain over to other people. You show them a little bit of brain you want them to see. All right.
Frighten people.
125. Ask people before sending a super graphic pic. This would apply to both, like, pictures of things.
Yes.
And you know what we're talking about. Or
just don't
like
do that, by the way, just don't. Just automatically assume don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
No, nobody wants
hold on.
that.
Wait. Hold on.
Don't do that.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. If you're a guy, don't do that.
Yeah, if
you're a wife,
you're not going to endear yourself on any level whatsoever. No one's impressed. Stop it. No.
If you're the wife, do that as often as you'd like.
No.
Because
as often as the wife would like.
The husband would love it. But anyway, moving on. This also applies to like pictures of moles and things. Hey, what do you think about this?
Right.
Do I need to go to the doctor?
I got a cut. Can you see the bone? Like, no, don't. Like, ask first.
I did have somebody send me a photo of like some weird growth or whatever that they had. Like, should I go to the doctor for this? I'm like, I'm eating. Can you ask me before you send this over? No warning, nothing. Oh, man. Okay. Number 126. Don't use Instagram stories to surveil what your friends choose to do instead of hanging out with you. So let's
very
say
specific.
Yeah. So let's say you invited someone to your dinner party, book talk, baby shower, seance, whatever. And they say no, or offered a non-committal, well, maybe. It might be, or it might smart a little, but you should you discover that they went to another social engagement instead, do not reach out and confront them or talk garbage behind their back to your mutual friends. In fact, it's probably best not to track them on Instagram in the first place. The story you'll tell yourself will always be worse than the real one. You'll always say, well, they just didn't want to hang out with me, or something like that. Instead of like, well, maybe they already had plans, or maybe they don't believe in divination or whatever else. Come to my seance.
Again, that's very all of my divination related invites that people keep turning down. I don't get it.
It's because you use some kind of crystal instead of deodorant.
Man, bless their hearts. I just think like if that's something you need an etiquette rule to tell you, then therapy would probably be a good choice. And I mean that with all of my heart, like not snarky at all, because
you're not wrong. But I know
just putting a lot on other people's opinion of you.
But like, I know I've been that person. You know, I've been that person many times. And it would be long before tracking somebody on Instagram stories was a thing. But had that been around when I was that way, I would. I know I would be just like, why aren't they here? They didn't want to come hang out with me. They must not really like me. I knew it all along. I'm not even going to bug them to ask them to hang out ever again. And it's really like, it was my dad's birthday. Okay, just chill out.
I think a lot of us who grew up with trauma and have like social anxiety or anything like that, like we will probably band together and say, yes, therapy is actually a really great thing if you can find a good therapist that you can trust and that understands you. Like, But yeah, don't do that. Don't like.
I am very grateful for the few years I got to spend in therapy. It really helped me sort a lot of stuff out. All right.
That's not what stories are for. They're for cute cat videos.
Right. And just to go out further on that, because we talked about stigmas, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
There is a stigma in the church communities, in Christian communities, that therapy is a bad thing for some reason. That the only therapy you're supposed to get is like from your pastor, who is not a trained therapist most of the time. No, I mean, it's perfectly all right if you want to make sure and find like a Christian therapist, or at least one that is, not gonna say it's your religion's fault or something like that. But it's not bad at all. No. It's actually probably beneficial for most people to at least occasionally have something like that in their life. Yeah. All right, 127. Sorry, I'm reading Shock the Toast comment. I'm trying to figure out if Matt is upset people didn't come to his divination, or someone was upset that he didn't go to theirs.
It was both. It was both. That's a tragic story. We can't
in the thing I'm reading. I didn't have a seance or whatever. All right, 127. Don't post in a manner of an influencer if you're not one. Social media has familiar formats because they accomplish goals. YouTubers flash a peace sign and sign off with "don't forget to like and subscribe" because it works. But they're business people. You are actual people. Sound, imagery, and text are your palette for self-expression. Why not use these platforms to find out how do you communicate best instead of borrowing from everyone else? So don't pretend to be an influencer. Is what it says.
I would need definition of terms there too, because they say like don't be an influencer, and then they include like don't say hit like and subscribe. But if you're trying to build a social media presence, you would want them to do that. So if you're just like, if you're like a random person,
the rule is if you're not,
you
one.
Don't care.
If you're aspiring to be one, then sure.
Then yeah, I mean, like, but what do they mean? Don't post like an influencer, like reviews of recipes and stuff? Like what exactly is she? I feel like this, and I say she because I feel a kinship to this author, but like what is the author like going through in her personal life that she feels like she needs to make these very, very, very specific hundreds of rules, and like she's low-key targeting all these actual things in her life that annoy her? Like that's what it feels like to me. Like, you're not an influencer, Sharon, stop it. Like, anyway,
I mean, you said like food reviews and stuff, and I think that would count. Like, if you're not really someone who's doing food reviews on purpose because it's something you want to do, don't be like, here's my review of this, and like, just be a normal person who's like, hey, I tried this and it sucks. You don't have to, you don't have to doll it up into some sort of production every time that you're on TikTok or whatever. You can just be yourself. I think that's what it's saying.
Yeah.
If you're not an influencer or attempting to be one, you don't need to like post like you are. I think it's more saying that you don't need to put that kind of pressure on yourself to produce just to put content out if you're just having fun.
Yeah. Be a real person. Like, I respect influencers more when they are like real people.
True.
Also.
Yeah, same here.
No.
All right, number 128. Let's see. Let me remember how far we're going. 131 is where we're stopping. Okay.
Random hair that's like tickling me and I can't.
128. You don't have to heart react DMs or comments that don't require a proper response. We're talking about the one-word responses to your photos or stories, cute, haha, or even the heart emoji itself. It's okay to heart react if you want to, but you can set yourself free from the expectation that you must. This holds true for text message reactions as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm one of the people that feels pressure to heart react every single thing that comes my way that I don't have a real reply for, I don't heart react everything that's sent to me. But if I'm done with this conversation, it's just like heart react on your, and I'm.
I think that's a different category though. And this is closed now. Heart reaction is good. No, I think that's that.
People are realizing, oh, he was done talking to me.
Like, okay, well, I guess it's proof that you saw it and you are accepting that I have received this message and now I'm done.
Yeah.
That acknowledgement is good, but like to feel the pressure to have to like everything. Let me just say, it was only like the last few weeks that my phone started doing the react emojis to texts. I don't have an iPhone.
So you have an Android like me. Yeah. I just started being able to do that too.
And it just started. So for the last couple of years, every time I'm in a text thread with a bunch of people and they're hearting stuff, I get a separate text. So-and-so reacted a heart to this message, and it gives the whole message again. And so I get like 6 of those, and I'm like, please stop. I don't care if you all hearted it. Stop it. But there's nothing I can do about it. Why are we doing
this on text messages? I don't get it.
Yeah, so like, but the acknowledgement heart, I think that's, that's a useful use for that. If it's something you don't love, but you want to say like, gotcha,
So I don't know if you know this or not, but now, since we can receive them and we receive the reactions from iPhones like they're supposed to come through, when we send reactions, iPhones now get another message.
Serves you right.
So still not everybody's happy. I don't like, I feel that pressure sometimes on like a social media where it's an actual comment, like where somebody takes the time to write something. Yeah. I might feel like I need to like it or heart it or something just to show like, I appreciate that you wrote this and I see you. And I feel like you said guilty a little bit. Like if 2 or 3 people comment on a post of mine and like one person, I'm like, oh yes, totally love. Like I love their comment. And the next person comments and it's like, just like, oh yeah, I do that too. And I'm like, I don't love that. Do I need to heart it anyway so they don't feel left out? Like I also feel like even if I give them a like instead of a love, they're like, well, they know I didn't love it. There's
all that dynamic going on there that we have to pressure ourselves into. Yeah.
Like, I love this. This is fine.
Yeah. Just universally blanket the sad emoji on everything and see what happens.
Or universal angry emoji, no matter what it is. Good things, bad things, angry. Are you okay?
I need the eyebrow. I need this reaction. Like for everything. Just like, what are you gonna do?
All right. What the rock eyebrow? The one up?
You interpret it. However you see it.
129. Hot gossip goes only in the voice memo and never in text. When you, oh my gosh, have something wild to share, you won't believe this. And you just, are you kidding? Can't wait. I'm dying to share it in person. Holy crap. You can't put it in writing. Texts are far too easy to screenshot and far too boring to type. As your attorney, I must advise you, send that gossip in a voice memo. Unless the recipient is one of those people who saves all their voice memos, careful, they do exist. This mode is the tops. It's fast, it's fun. Nothing beats a face-to-face tete-a-tete or even a dishy phone call, but a series of increasingly unhinged recordings again of your friend talking out of school in their actual voice is enough to singe your ear.
See, I'm still stuck on that whole thing of you reading that, and I just hear Matt going like, "Oh, my stars and garters," and like,
stars and garters.
His handkerchief's fine. I would say my first reaction with Gray is just don't gossip. But if it's something like so-and-so's pregnant, she's not telling them, she said I could tell you.
Yeah. That's what I'm envisioning when I'm thinking of this.
Don't put that in text because people will read in a flash over their shoulders like their kid. My kids will read just in a glance like over my shoulder, and I'm like, that was not for your eyes. So yeah, I mean, voice to voice live is best. Voice memo is okay. But yeah, and just assume that nothing's private. But once it leaves your phone, it's not private anymore. It doesn't matter what you say to them or what they promise. It's not private.
That came up a lot with Brian's and my show when we were talking about work. I think there was like 2 of them that was about gossip. And most of it comes down to, hey, just don't do that. And then you don't have to worry about any of this. But like you said, I'm envisioning situations where it's like, hey, I've got this bit of information I'm allowed to tell you, but nobody else can know yet. Yeah. So yeah, a voice memo, probably the safer route if you can't talk to them directly, kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, text will go too far, screenshot, whatever. Not a good idea. This was fun to read. It was written really fun. Gasp. 130. That includes those photos earlier mentioned.
Your
Maker
mole
says.
And
your mole or whatever other porn.
Writing the photo in detail.
130. Sit down and respond to an email, even if it's a year late. Then be honest about the fact that you ignored it in the first place. So essentially, don't just leave emails hanging for the rest of your life?
I would like to hear the answer to this because this is a struggle for me. Is like my phone has this thing wrong with it where sometimes I don't get things or I don't get notifications until like much later. And then, combine that with the anxiety and memory issues. And I'm like, how long has this been sitting in my phone? Did this person ever hear back from me? I have no idea. And so I'm very interested in crowdsourcing. Would people prefer, hey, I'm so sorry, it's a year later, and I know that I'm not going to be there Saturday, but
I know I already missed your wedding, but hey, congratulations.
Right? Like, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm always like, I need to respond. I can't just delete it. And then I have like 95,000 emails and then I need to respond to all of them. And then I shut down and respond to none of them.
Right.
So, would people rather have something late instead of just wondering, or have they already forgotten? And then when I respond, they're going to be like, I forgot, I was mad at you. And now I hate your guts forever. So
Thray says, please, even if you're recovering to anxiety, just reply. Trombone says, a year late is excessive and a response is probably moot at that point. Otherwise, yes, it doesn't matter when you reply. I feel like personally, I don't think most people, again, with this situation, we're probably talking about people that maybe they aren't close, given that you can go a whole year and not talk to them, and so the reply never comes in yet. But know enough that you care that, hey, I'm sorry that I missed this. So I think I would prefer a response, even if it's really late, and just like, hey, totally space this or whatever. And I would genuinely think I'd have sympathy, or at least empathy on that. I'd be like, oh yeah, happens to me all the time. Totally cool. That's probably not important now, whatever the email was about, but hey, this is happening. You want to, blah, 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 that kind of thing. I feel like that's what it would be. But I think it really only, applies to emails. Text messages are part of a constantly ongoing back and forth with people. And there are going to be times that you miss something. And if you catch it, then like, oh, hey, I just saw that I missed this. Is this still a thing? But usually when you're getting a text message, it's not about a giant thing that's, months from now or something like that. It's something that's happening right here.
Yeah.
So if you miss it, you miss it. And then you can just say, hey, I just saw that I missed this entire thread earlier in the family chat or whatever. Is there still anything I can help with or whatever? Or is it past? Accepting responsibility for missing a message, I think is fine. But I think there's a lot more grace when it comes to text messages, especially in group chats, because they go so quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So much conversation. All right. One more on text messages here. And this is about this. Okay. What do you know? 131. Text message amnesty is granted after 72 hours. After that point, you don't have to acknowledge the old text when you get in contact again. So essentially, if they text you something you don't want to answer, wait 3 days, and then just don't ever address it.
Yes, I would say that's very subjective depending on what the thing is. So
I guess this is just as a general rule. Today we are finishing going over the new etiquette rules for posting and texting, but we've got rule 132 through 140 to go through today. And it starts with 132. If you like something your friend is doing, promote it online. It doesn't matter if you have a big follower. It's the following. Sorry. I have one big follower. It's a gesture. It takes 0.5 seconds and it matters more than you probably realize.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Like I own a small business I have for 17 years. And anytime a friend is like, hey, if you need somebody this, or they tag me in comments like, oh, so-and-so is looking for da-da-da-da-da, and they tag me. And I was like, wow, I never would have expected them to tag me, but there they are. So yeah, share small businesses, share people who create things or make things or, are doing, their ministries or their nonprofits that they work for, their fundraisers and stuff. If it's something that you like, something you believe in, something that you think would fill a need for someone, absolutely. Yeah.
Nope, I agree. I know that sharing businesses and things like that too often from one person can get annoying, but at the same time, social media as we knew it is kind of dying anyway. So if you're still subjecting yourself to staying in scrolling through Facebook feeds all day, then that's kind of what you get.
Yeah. But something genuine where you're like, oh my gosh, I love this really helped me out, or this was exactly what I was looking for. And Absolutely. I know I've heard other people complain about this exact same thing. Like, you should try this. Absolutely. Personal testimonial, but not the share the same thing, prepackaged marketing, photograph from a magazine thing.
Personal things.
Be a real person on the internet. Be a real person.
I bought the I want to make sure I get this right. Hat dock, where you can put your ball cap in, and you can stack up to like 25 in this thing, and it keeps it all contained. And when Bubba told me like he knows the guy that made that, I'm like, oh, okay, well now I'm gonna make a big deal out of it. And so I posted everywhere, hey, I bought this thing and it's dope. Yeah. And I think that kind of personal touch of a real review, like, I'm not getting paid to do this. I actually use this. It's really cool. You need one. Yes. That's the kind of stuff that you really want to push to. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. No disagreements with that rule whatsoever. 133. Oh, here we go. Continuation. But don't harass your friends or coworkers to promote you online. And don't forget, lots of people just don't like to live online like this. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, sure.
Hands down.
You don't want to don't badger people. Yeah. I think
like if you're, go ahead.
There's a couple times that I've been asked, hey, would you mind just like one time posting this to some of the people, just so we can get some of the word out initially as we're starting this thing up. And I'm like, I will absolutely do that. And I will post like, hey, my friends are starting this business that does this, and this. If that's something you're looking for, go check them out. I know them personally. Yeah. They're great people, and I think they'll take care of you. I'm willing to do that one time, maybe twice in the span of 6 months. But if you're just constantly asking because whatever you're trying to do just ain't working, he's like, hey, can you post again? Can you post again? You've got 800 people in your friends list that I'm not mutual friends with. Can you just keep posting? Yeah. Like, they don't know you. Yeah. If they haven't done it by now, they don't want to do it. Right.
Especially if it's a commercial post. If it's not, hey, I just found this. It's my favorite new drink, or it's my favorite, whatever. Whatever it is, I will gladly
continue to post if it's like I'm using your service. Yes. And each time I use it, I'm happy. I'm like, hey, I did this. These guys made this cake for me for my birthday. Look how dope it is. If you want one, here's their website.
But the hey, post a actual commercial for me that claims results, and this is the best, blah blah blah. Here's my shopping link. When I don't even use your product, I don't know anything about it, and you're just like random messaging me, hey, it would really help me out if more people would post this. I'm like, we don't have that relationship. Like,
we don't have that relationship. And also the likelihood that I'm going to have someone in my friends list that is just currently dying for your product is slim to nil, let alone that they're going to see it.
Yeah.
It's casting too broad of a net that's got a whole bunch of holes in it. Yeah.
Like genuine, if it's great, then let people try it and give reviews of what they liked,
134, find your signature sign off and stick with it. From all best or lots of love, be yourself.
Shabai.
I picked that up from Bubba, actually. I hadn't done that until I started hearing Bubba say it at the end of every stream. I'm like, that's fun. That's a fun thing.
I've literally never heard it before except for you guys. And I was like, what is that? And then you both did. I was like, oh, that's a thing. That's okay. That's your signature. But I knew it already. That's the signature.
I don't think Bubba does it anymore, so I think we took it from him.
That's the background. Well, for me, it's the background morning show. Like, this is how Matt signs off. It's like, Shabai. I can do it. Super fan.
135. But if you can't find your way, consider, as always, there's a story here. I refuse to give up email sign-offs because I'm a romantic and a historian. They are the last vestige of written correspondence, and they must be preserved. That said, there's only one correct way to sign off an email, and that is, as always. It's a workhorse that can be intimate without being weirdly romantic, respectful without being overly formal, or exasperated without being too cold. An initial is abrupt, best is boring, and cheers is obnoxious. An adverb, hastily, warmly, faithfully, tenderly, has charm, but requires some thought. As always, on the other hand, is the effortless adieu of someone dashing off emails in between fabulous outings, while I am in actuality hunched over my laptop reading and reading emails, reading and rereading emails I drafted a week ago.
I'd say that very much depends on the content of the email you're sending, because that seems very passive aggressive to me.
As always.
Like, I would really like you to get back to me about this. As always.
Right. You got to make sure it doesn't line up with your other sentence and give you a completely different meaning.
As always.
Yeah, I will agree that, like, I do not like the overly weird kind of lovey-dovey ones that people use just in random conversation with people you barely know.
Yeah.
I don't even like love me. Like, no, don't do that.
No. My go-to is a tilde. I do tilde Hilary or
just
tilde
name.
Hilary Fiskeaux.
Just
like,
name.
I don't even bother with because that's a lot of pressure for me. I'd be like, what if I pick the wrong adverb? What if they read it differently? What if it seems passive aggressive to them? Like, that's too much pressure. So I'm like, tilde.
I just tell them what I'm about to do next. On my way to the toilet, Matt. Ready for a sandwich, Matt.
Yeah, see,
that's what's happening.
Phrase is appropriate until the next adventure.
That's yeah. Okay, that's fantastical. I'll do that one. Reminds me of Lord of the Rings. All right, 136. Read receipts, pronounced. Wait, huh?
That's how the receipts are pronounced.
Pronounced as in the color. Clifford the Big. Oh, red. Thank you. Red receipts, as in, it says red at the bottom.
You have read my email.
Yes, got it.
I got it.
Are to be turned on only in case of medical emergency. There's more. While it is safe to assume that most people under the age of 50 are umbilically attached to their phone, to have demonstrable proof that they have seen and ignored your communique is psychologically inadvisable. So this is for you. This is for your personal sanity. Don't turn on red receipts.
Yeah, I mean, like, red receipts are just kind of creepy to me. Like, what are you going to do with that information? Are you going to be like, hey, I know you saw this on Tuesday? Like,
yeah, well, yeah, definitely some people are like that.
As always.
As always, I know you read this. So for the longest time, most of the conversations that I've had with people, I've actually had through Facebook Messenger instead of text. Especially with my wife. My wife and I pretty much only use Messenger for some reason. I don't know why. That's the habit we've fallen into. But that's always been a feature of Facebook Messenger. And so I'm so used to that when it finally started happening on my phone, because that came with the emoji reacts on my phone, that also now you could do red receipts. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I have it turned on for a couple people, but they're like people that I work with. And so it's usually about work stuff. And so that hasn't bothered me. I haven't actually. Oh, what's that? We got a raid time. Seal the Centurion, thank you so much for the raid. For viewers, come on in. We are talking about the new etiquette guide from the New York Magazine. We're talking about posting and social media and texting, new etiquette rules. So come on in and have an etiquette lesson. Thank you so much. I feel
like Messenger, like I love it on Messenger, but I feel like doing it for Messenger and email are two different vibes. Yeah. Because so much of email is business and like just like one-off things. But Messenger's really like, hey, we're having a conversation and I need to know if you got this or if you're thinking or if you just didn't see it. But like my kids, for a long time, my messengers will be like, it's already read. I'm like, I never saw that. But my kids are like, ooh, a bubble just popped up. You know,
right.
They're opening the app and I'm like, I never saw that. And now it's not marked as unread anymore.
What I was going to say before the raid came in is like, I don't think I've ever actually thought about this with text messaging. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've thought about the psychological impact of having read receipts on with text messages. Because you're right, text messages are different than messenger conversations. Psychologically, I think people do see those as ongoing conversation kind of things, and it's fine to know that they read it or didn't, because you're not probably going to be having a conversation with someone that's just going to leave you on read. Right. Text messages are almost like mini emails most of the time, where it's like they're going to respond when they're ready to respond, and you need to accept that. You don't need to see that they read it and sit there coming up with all the terrible reasons they're not responding right now. Right. In reality, in reality, it's probably because they're driving or they're doing something that they can't respond at the moment, but they could have read it. But who knows? I think this is probably smart. For your own psychological safety. Don't turn them on for all your text messages. All right, number 137. You have to get consent to post a conversation with a friend. No screenshots, no copy and paste without permission. And if it's involving pictures, get the consent in triplicate.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly agree.
I would agree with this in 99.9% of cases. Occasionally, if there is something hilarious that has happened and I know that my friend will be okay with it, I'm not going to ask permission. I'm going to post it and let everybody laugh. But yes, it should be common sense that you don't share private conversations. Number 138. Hold on. I'm going to go back there. The last one I remember doing was a conversation with Mo. And Mo and I were chatting about something, and I showed her an article or something about something that proved a point that I had. Like, more people hate X than like it. You know, it was something where we had a disagreement, and I was proving it to her, and her response to me was, "You and I are going to fight." And I posted that without any consent, and it was hilarious.
But Mo would be fine
absolutely,
with that. So
I wouldn't do that with everybody. All right, 138. Don't pelt your friends with text messages. People text differently. It's okay to communicate about it. Get bombarded. Try saying, "Hey, I don't text that much," or "I don't text as much when I'm busy during the day at work." If you have a different text cadence from your friend. Yeah. I mean, that's just with anything else. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different way they handle it. So I was reading a comment from Hunter Fam Mom over here, said, for the one we had before, "My family knows funny text or combos may be posted at any time." I guess if it's an ongoing understanding, then sure. Do you have anything to add to this one? Just don't.
I've already forgotten what it is. So.
Don't overly text people. Your friends.
No, I'll shut down in a heartbeat
and expect them to do it.
Until after the 3 days has passed.
after the 72-hour grace period.
After the 72 hours,
I don't even have to acknowledge you.
And that is the thing, because I have had friends where their style is they post like 10 texts that'll have a few words each, and I'm the style of thoughtfully compose several sentences and send it in one text. And so when I get ding, 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 ding,
that's
ding,
where
I can't look at that anymore. And also I'm busy. So
that's where it gets to my psychological stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer people who post in bursts like that when we're having a conversation. Like, I want thought, and all different things. If you're sitting there for 5 solid minutes and I'm just seeing those typing things going, I'm like, this is about to hurt me. This is going to be a bad thing. And it almost never is.
Like they'll break up one thought into several texts. Like they'll be like, I think my favorite flavor is this. Next text, because da 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 da, or da 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 da. And I'm like, but you wrote those so fast, you thought it all long enough to put it in one text, like, but yes, no, absolutely. If I see, like, especially on Discord, if it's like text, messaging, and then they go silent for a while. Messaging.
Right.
Oh my word! I'm
like,
in
what's
big
happening? What's going
right
on
now.
here?
Oh my gosh!
I try and protect people from that exact thing because I've had such a anxiety about it that I will write everything I'm going to post in like a notepad on the computer first, and then I'll just copy and paste it, quickly scan for misspellings, and then post it so people will be like not stressing out.
No, I agree with you. What you said originally, where it's like just know the person and communicate what you prefer. Because like if I say, hey girl, I'm actually watching a movie with my husband tonight, we're having an at-home date night, I want her to then keep texting me all her random funny thoughts right then. Like I don't want those to keep up on my phone. Like even if my ringer's off, I'm like, but I'm not going to get to that now. Like I don't know. I think it's just personal relationship.
Seal the Centurion says when it comes to like the long typing ... half the time I write, delete everything, and then rewrite it. That's why it's taking so long, guys. All right, number 139. Don't post RIPs for celebrities. It says Keith McNally recently wrote on Instagram, only the most moronic among us post photos of famous people seconds after they die. It's not a form of respect for the dead, but an attempt to psychophantically associate themselves with the famous person. It's their 15 minutes of fame, and that's tacky. Unless David Crosby was your actual uncle or cousin or whatever, refrain.
Well, I think as nerds, we can agree that that's probably not how we would approach certain celebrities. That's like if it was really impactful for you.
But I think it has to come with that impactful reason. Like you got to post why it's important. Right.
Like I feel like if it's a celebrity who was really instrumental in your life or really a big part of your fandom, that it shows honor to their body of work and to their life's efforts to acknowledge that their life has ended and that you feel personally impacted by it because what they chose to do with their life made a difference to you. And I think that honors them. But just to be like, oh my gosh, you see so-and-so died? I can't believe it. No, I've never seen any of his movies. Like that's not the same thing.
And I think specifically this might be talking about just like a picture of them and like RIP Bill. Whoever named Bill. I don't want to speak any death out into the oh gosh, Bill Murray. Oh gosh. No, but Trombone Dog says it depends on how it's posted. And that's exactly what we're saying. I really think it's different in certain situations. Like I posted, well, you know what? I don't know if I actually posted it or not, but I planned on or did post about Jason David Frank. Because Jason David Frank, I had followed for a long time, and I really loved his story, and I really loved his ministry, and how much he loved the fans, and the Jesus Didn't Tap clothing line and UFC stuff. It was all really cool. It was wrestling adjacent. It was neat. And when he passed away, especially given the manner of how he passed away, that rocked me a bit. And I don't know now if I actually posted anything or not. But I know I had the desire to. I did talk about him in a sermon that I gave, though. That's how important it was to me. And that wasn't any kind of like I am anywhere on any type of connection with this man. This man did not know my name or my existence. I never got to meet him or anything like that. And anything that I said, or if I did posted about him, wasn't any kind of like, hey, conflate me with JDF. But I think I do think there are a lot of people that do that who will post when Betty White passed away and like, oh, Betty White, and they're like, okay, yeah, you liked Betty White, but like, did you like Betty White because she had a significant impact on your life, or is it just the meme of Betty White's never going to die that you're latching onto, so people will share your photo and get your name everywhere? It's It's a weird one. All right, last one here. This one might be controversial, and it's got a long, not super long, but a long final thing here. Post like the wind. On Instagram, where best practices are unspoken but nearly universal, the conventional wisdom is that you should post on your main feed no more than once a day. Infrequent posting is perfectly in line with Instagram's social mechanisms. It maximizes likes on each post, prioritizes the consumer, and lends itself to a tasteful, optimized feed where only the best of the best pics make the cut. But if you're going to participate in social media, the only way to have any fun with it is by consciously defying the incentives it dangles in front of you. Post excessively, indulgently, tastelessly. Maybe even take some shots with an in-app camera and post them as is. It only seems unimaginable because you're not thinking big enough. The curated photo dump carousel, polite and unintrusive, is dead. Posting 15 individual photos to your main grid in one day is what freedom feels like.
I think that's, again, very subjective depending on what you like to use social media for. I mean, like,
yeah, well, again, I think this
like,
is assuming that you do want to post a whole lot of pictures all the time. I think it's saying don't constrain yourself to what you think Instagram best practices are if that's not what you want to do. Yeah. And I'll just throw Mo out there because Mo posts like the wind. My gosh. And she has for years. She'll post photo carousels, but she'll also post like 10 of those a day sometimes. Like she will go nuts with the photos. Yeah. And while sometimes it feels excessive, I'm like, really, my whole feed is Mo photos today. It's still like, but she's having a good time. And they're not, well, how is this hurting me to scroll through these? If I don't want to see them, I'll just, and roll past.
Well, it's a good way to get your photo. Like for me, I use it a lot for memories.
Yeah, that's what she does. Yeah.
Like with Facebook, it'll pop up every year and I'll be like, oh my gosh, last year was that trip we took, or oh my gosh, it's been a year since you learned how to blah, 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 or, since whatever. And so like, I like it for that. And then I know I can always go back and find like, oh, I know that I posted about that. And so I know that it's like having photo albums. Like, this is where my memories are because I forget a lot of things and I want to make sure that it's preserved as much as things can be preserved on a website that I don't control, but it's there and in perpetuity, assumedly. And so I think if you want, like Mo, like she's getting her memories, her thoughts, her feelings out there and expressing herself and preserving them. And I think that that's a great way to use it. If you're like a post once a day and it's one single shot in black and white of your bird and your feeder, go for it. I mean, that's what it's for. It's for you to do what you want it for. Like it's your social media. So
like I do enjoy the memory aspect of it, specifically like Facebook memories. Because while we have all those photos, and I could go look them up anytime I want, there's also a billion other photos in that automatic backup thing, many of which are like my son got a hold of the camera and took 57 shots of my wife's ear, for no reason. Like to sort through them all and find the exact photo you're thinking of or want to look through, it's almost tedious. So to have Facebook like give me the reminder of, hey, here are those cool photos that you thought worthy of posting that came out 5 years ago or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I like this. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. It's one of the few things that I still really like about Facebook.
Yeah.
So I think this is fine. I agree with this. I don't think you need to constrain yourself if you don't want to, because if other people hate it, they can unfollow you or they can mute you. Most things let you mute the other person and not see their updates and still be their friend or follower. Or they could just leave the app altogether. Frankly, that's got to happen eventually, right? Social media is slowly dying, or all becoming the same thing. Instagram is slowly becoming TikTok. All right. Well, that is the list. And that's all for today and all for the week. I do want to give a big thank you to Hilary for filling in for Mo this week. Did you have a good time?
I did, and I'm so glad to be with the Back Row Morning Show, and because you guys are really special to me, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Matt.
I appreciate it. I thank you so much for being here. So that is